going on, everybody? It is April 20th. It is a Monday. Hope you're doing well. Hope you're staying safe. Got a few things to talk about when it comes to comic book news. Got some reactions on DC coming back to comic shops. A old legend predicts that crowdfunding is going to become a big thing for comic pros. And that's going to be really funny to watch. I definitely want to talk about that. And then, of course, mainstream media is still wondering if comics will survive everything going on right now. I think we can all at least agree on one thing. It's not going to look the same as it has, for the past 100 years. Things are going to look a lot different as we move forward. If the market is even close to what it was, I don't know. I don't think it will be, but we'll get into that. But first, initial retailer reaction to DC distribution plan is mixed, updated. So how do people feel about what DC Comics is doing? So quick recap, just a quick little recap. Diamond are the people who distributed comics. So DC, Marvel, Image, all these companies would send all their product to Diamond, and Diamond would send all of that product to comic book shops. Okay, that's how it worked. Well, they shut down, and they're just about bankrupt. In fact, they're like giving out IOUs to pay people back on their accounts right now. It's pretty hilarious. Diamond was so broken that they could only go a couple of weeks into what's happened lately, and they're about to collapse and talking about they can't distribute comics to August. Though they're changing that tune now. They are going to change that tune over. Now they're saying that they can go ahead and distribute comics again all of a sudden because, DC is going to find a new way to do things and a new way to go about business. So their plan is to use this DCBS and Midtown Comics. Now, Midtown Comics has been shipping comics for a long time. They actually have like the biggest account out of Diamond. Like most of the comics, like when you go to Comic-Con and you look at the numbers shipped for comics, Midtown Comics is probably like 30% of those books because they have mail orders. So you can order your you could physically go to Midtown Comics or on their website. You could physically go to their website and you could order from them. Have like a virtual pull list. Basically, DC is just tapping them, and I think another comic book shop started DCBS. So now they're just going to use them. But apparently they're still going to use Diamond. So I don't know what's going on. Diamond is still a thing. And retailers are kind of pissed. Now, the reason that they're mad about this and the reason that they're complaining is because they see this as giving their competitor more business. Midtown Comics is competition to comic book shops. Okay, because they are a comic book shop. They're a huge comic book shop, but you can buy from them. You don't even need to go to a comic book shop. If you wanted to, you could order physical books from Midtown Comics. That is a thing. So, there's a little bit of a mixed reaction here among retailers because they're like, whoa, hold on a second. Now you're giving them a huge advantage. This is going to make Midtown Comics money. Also, are they going to get the same kind of discounts through Midtown Comics that they were getting through Diamond? So these are big questions, and people are pretty upset about it because this is all new, and it's not the most well-thought-out plan. You can tell DC kind of just rushed to figure something out here. You got to at least give them props for figuring something out on a short notice. But, they should have never been in this situation in the first place. You should never have had a monopoly through Diamond, but there's nothing we can do about that now. And understandably, not everybody is going to be happy with it. I'm not too hard on DC. They're kind of working with what they can work with so that they can get product out. I can't fault them too hard. Not everyone's going to be happy with it, but this is the best they were able to do. And they've kind of forced Diamond to come back and try to do stuff. So we'll see what happens. The next bit is Jim Steranko, a legend in the comic book industry, mostly known for a lot of his work on Nick Fury. So he's had some opinions. This is what he said. Heard that DC is distributing outside the Diamond system, and they offered all titles free in digital form. This seems like a ploy to break down resistance to digital comics, but kids today live online and will easily embrace electronic delivery. Goodbye, pamphlet. Hi, Jim, someone says here. Hate to disagree with you, especially online where this will be a minority opinion, but DC and other pubs have offered digital comics free on and off for many years, yet digital still represents less than 10% of total #comics Comic fans prefer print, even young readers. Fact. And Jim says, not arguing with you, but if what's going on right now forces comic shops to close permanently, titles may only be available in digital format. Doubt Target and Walmart will rack comics in their chains, so where would fans get them? Digital is easiest delivery system currently possible. So a couple things with this. Walmart is stacking comics, not like traditional comics, but they have the giant-sized DC books. And I believe that there's the Allegiance comics coming to Walmart. So I think that they are playing around with them a little bit. Whether they're going to become big places for comic books remain to be seen. But, I mean, they will do it. The thing with the digital thing, though, like Jim's talking about here, is those have been available forever and kids aren't buying them. They cost too much money. Kids don't care about comics. It's just a fact. And I don't know how you get them back, to be honest. I don't know how you get them back. They have no problem reading manga, though, I can tell you that. You can get them, but they need to figure something out. The books that they're putting out aren't appealing to kids. It's just a fact. So anyway, Marvel will have to follow suit or close its doors. I predicted that both major publishers would share a common distributor, but maybe rivalry has gotten in the way of smart biz. Indie publishers will be forced to crowdfund. Nothing will be the same. Now, it's the crowdfund thing that I really thought was hilarious. So crowdfunding for the creators that have ran around trashing on fans for so long are going to have to learn basic customer service. Now, how do you think that's going to go? Isn't it going to be funny to watch these people? Like, they're not, you think overnight they're going to just start being friendly to fans? No. They're just going to expect you to rush to their crowdfunds. And we've already seen them kind of starting to do this. So Comicsgate has been doing this for a long time. And now, now that the well is drying up, these guys want to come over and pretty much have a ceasefire and try to get in and learn the ropes. And I say no thanks. It's just going to be funny to watch them squirm and still want to sit there and say, Orange Man bad, don't buy my books then, punk. And then their crowdfunds don't move. We saw this recently with Ron Mars and company. The people out there were saying, my customer is not the customer is not my customer. The retailer is my customer. I don't serve the fan. And then he launched a crowdfund and it barely got funded. You know what I'm saying? It barely got funded. So I'm not sure these people are going to be very successful at crowdfunding, but I got to tell you, it is going to be hilarious to watch. And they're already whining. Here's another article right here. This is Beyond the Great Depression. How will comic books survive? This whole article is littered with people in comic books, in the comic book industry that work in it, whining like work's drying up. I don't know if I'm going to have work in a year or two. Erica Henderson, you know her. She's the unbeatable Squirrel Girl artist. Let me show you some of that art. And this is it. This is what Marvel has been selling. So here's Squirrel Girl, a very, very low-selling book, by the way. So when people tell you comics have been doing just fine, no. This is the kind of trash that Marvel's been putting out for the past couple of years. Garbage like this. Comics have been on a death spiral for years because they've pretty much abandoned standards. Check boxes for people, I guess, sell comics. I'm not sure. But anyway, we got a whole thing here of people whining about not having work. Their work's gone. Okay. Mostly Kieran Gillian and Erica Henderson were whining about it. She says it right here. The first week, things were normal, says Erica Henderson, artist on Marvel's beloved Unbeatable Squirrel Girl series. Nobody's buying it. It's not beloved. Nobody buys it. As under 10,000 issues shipped. Theoretically, that means nobody's buying it. They're rotting on comic book shelves. But yeah, beloved, sure. Keep telling yourself that. The only people that like this trash are outlets like this, The Guardian, who give it high. It's funny. You'll go and you'll look at reviews, all the mainstream media sites. Oh my good. Yeah, Unbeatable Squirrel Girl, so good. Yet it doesn't sell. These people have no reach whatsoever. They'll promote a book like crazy. It doesn't sell for shit. It's really funny. It's really funny to watch. But anyway, She says, I was putting out the same amount of work. It was fine. The next 2 weeks, nothing. I really had a hard time getting anything work-related done. I continued to make comics for my Patreon, but I think the fact that it wasn't my job made it okay. I wanted to keep making art, but doing my work was impossible. I'm now at about 50 through 75%. And so on and so on. Kieran says right here, I'm in a lucky position. I have enough sales that they'll probably find an audience. The question is, does eventually that stop? I think it does. So a couple of takeaways from all of this that are going to be pretty funny to watch over time. Number one, the people that have been calling you istophobes, terrible people, they've been calling you trash humans, pretty much saying, are you good enough to be my fan? Lick my boots, then buy my comic. They're starting to realize that the work is drying up finally. Took them long enough, took them a couple of weeks, but now, all the pencils down, well, they're catching up with them, and now they're starting to worry. Two, they're going to have to go to crowdfunding. Now, that is going to be a sight to see. The people that have been sitting around wanting you to lick their boots and then buy their comics are going to have to, they're going to have to press X and get rid of the boot licking and start licking your boots to live. And are they going to be able to do that? I don't think so. I think a lot of them are going to be living a hard life after this. And I just don't see them being able to change. But let me ask you this for the comments. If they were willing to change and started treating you better, would you be open to buying their books again? Or is what's done is done? You've had enough of them trashing you, calling you a piece of trash. You're not going to buy their books anymore. I'd like to hear your thoughts on that. Do you think they'll be successful at crowdfunding? I'd like to hear your thoughts on that as well. Also, share the video if you would. Throw a like up. That would be appreciated. Check out my Patreon and maybe consider becoming a member of the channel. Also, make sure you still subscribe. Subscribe if you're new. Hit that notification bell, and I'll see you guys on the next one. Peace. Also, if you want to help support the channel, check out my Teespring store. There's a link in the description. You can find some merchandise in there that you might want to check out. Also, take a moment. Make sure you're still subscribed to the channel. There's something going on right now, and they've been unsubscribing people. So just take a second and double check on that, and subscribe if you're new.